Hey YouTube family, welcome back to another video. I just wanted to jump on here really quick and get you all's opinion about something I just saw. I did a lot of scrolling. I was kind of lazy this weekend and I didn't want to do any content or create a video. So I was doing some scrolling and I ran into a couple of videos that kind of stood out. They were reaction videos to this video this lady did on TikTok. And I don't know, y'all, with the TikTok, I think they be trolling us sometimes. I think they be just putting out videos. They're like little skits, but cause I don't know, this one just seemed kind of weird to me. But it was another gentleman, if I can remember his channel, I'll go ahead and link it in the description box, and also the young lady that the video was made, the TikTok that he got his video from. Basically, and I'm going to just paraphrase, but basically, the young lady got on TikTok and said that her husband told her that she was, what was the word? That she was a mediocre mom and a mediocre wife. Basically, like she was substandard. And the reason I say I think they were trolling us is because if this was a real conversation that you're going to have with somebody, like let's say somebody told you or your husband came up to you and said, hey, I think you are a slacker. I think you're not a good wife. I think you're not a good mom. What's going to be the first thing you're going to ask? You're going to be like, well, why? Right? You're going to say, why would you think that? So that wasn't this lady's reaction. She didn't have a reaction. Well, at least in her video, she didn't. So she said she just went on about her business. Because, she was a stay-at-home mom, and she gave all the reasons why she thought she wasn't mediocre or substandard, wife and mom, because she said she cooked all her meals at home. She made all her meals from scratch. She didn't buy processed foods or let her kids eat snack foods and things like that. And she churned her own butter. So again, that's why I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, you guys trolling us? Because, who churns their own butter? Unless you live on a farm or something like that. I don't know. But she didn't say that she did. So I don't know, right? But, so she said she did all this stuff. And I guess later on, when she did talk to her husband, and I guess finally the conversation came up and she asked, well, why? Well, back up a little bit. She did all this extra. She explained what she did. She went above and beyond as far as being a mom and a wife, right? And she said she did even more stuff, right? She, went into her duties and her chores even extra hard because, of the criticism. So then I guess she went to her husband a second time. And then I guess she said, hey, I've been doing all this stuff. I did X, Y, Z. I churned my own butter, blah, blah, blah. And, what do you think? You think I'm still mediocre or whatever? And at that time, I guess the conversation was had and he said, yeah. And then I guess she asked this time, she said, well, why is that? Why do you think I'm mediocre? And he said, it has nothing to do with what you do. All the stuff that you're doing, he said, is great. He said, but it's your attitude. And I was like, aha. So, you have one of those aha moments. And I guess she had one of those aha moments. And she said, well, what do you mean by attitude? And he said, you always have an attitude. And again, she didn't go into detail. Maybe she did later in her video, but the part of the video that I saw, she didn't really go into what kind of attitude she had. So I'm going to just make some assumptions of my own. I'm going to assume that, while she was cooking and the cleaning or whatever she does, as a stay-at-home mom, she was probably feeling some kind of way. She's probably stressed, probably overworked. A lot of things going on, could be going on there. Just like anybody else who work outside of the home, we have our stressors and our pressures and, we don't always have a good attitude either, right? And that's anybody. So I would assume that, she was stressed and the pressure of maintaining the home and doing all these things was probably getting to her. And she probably didn't realize that she was displaying an attitude And of course, that trickles down to the kids and your family members, your husband, whoever. It's going to trickle down to them. So I guess it made her thought, and it made me think like, oh, I mean, yeah, basically he's right. You could do all those things, but if your attitude sucks, it kind of takes away from, you going above and beyond and doing all those things, if that makes sense. Let me know if you guys think that makes sense. It kind of, yeah, but by you having attitude and you're performing all these duties and, making all this homemade stuff, that negates doing those things when you have an attitude behind it. And that leads me to, I think I'm going to put out another video about why women have attitudes. And he didn't ask her, rather than sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, why do you have an attitude, or, what's making you have this disposition or what have you. So rather than they have a conversation about it, I don't know. Like, I didn't see the end of the video, but I would assume they would have had a conversation, and then hopefully her attitude got adjusted. And hopefully he offered what he can do to help. If it was stress, hopefully he offered to say, hey, what can I do to relieve your stress, or what can I do to help so that you can have a better attitude? But I'm just going to take that video with a grain of salt. I just wanted to key in on the attitude part. That's the thing I wanted to talk about. Because again, I think we'll be in trouble because the progression of the video and some of the things just didn't add up. But the point I want to take away from this, and the point I want to make is, if we're perceived as women as having an attitude, let's have a conversation and ask us why. Why do we have an attitude? Could it be because we feel disrespected? Could it be that we're just tired? There are a lot of things that could be going on, or we could be stressed, right? So again, this could be in the workplace. This also can be in your home. If you have an attitude, because a lot of times we don't know we have an attitude, but if your family members are telling you, say, hey, what's with the attitude? Then ask us, sit down with us and ask us, hey, are you okay? Because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we're not okay. We're stressed. We're tired. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit with you all, just to see what you all think. And you think am I right on this? I mean, it's my opinion, but I think I kind of hit on something there. A lot of us, they perceive women as, women with attitude. You guys, you see the stuff out there. You see social media. You hear the rhetoric. But there are reasons why we have attitudes. It's not just, we're just born and we just woke up and decide I'm going to be nasty today, right? That's not the case. If we have attitudes, there's a reason behind it. 9 times out of 10, we're stressed, we're tired, we got things going on, okay? So the next time you run across one of these videos, or you see somebody, in a nasty disposition, or they're just being nasty, take time out and ask, hey, are you okay? Can I help? You doing all right? Just ask. Just ask a simple question, and you'd be surprised, the answer you might get. They might ask you and reach out for help. They may tell you maybe something's going on in their life or whatever, and that's why they're having a crummy attitude that day. So I think, the moral story here is just, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to judge other people, especially women, when they have, if you perceive them as having attitude towards you, or their disposition is nasty. Just ask them, are they okay? So, I'm going to leave y'all here with that thought. Drop me a comment and let me know what you think about this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.